Linda's story time. Today I'm going to share with you the story of Ruth and Naomi. I'm a grandma and I absolutely love being a grandma. My daughter-in-law Ruth and her husband Boaz, not my son by the way, but I'll tell you more about that in a minute, have got a little boy called Obed. He is a delight. I love to look after him. Such a joy. We all live here together in Bethlehem and life is good. But it's not always been like this. Ruth and I have gone through some real ups and downs. I was born here, brought up here, and married a really good man called Elimelech. A lovely man, kind, caring. We owned this land that I'm now living on, strangely enough. Good farming land. But, and most importantly, we had two wonderful sons, Mahlon and Kilian. But one day, a famine came to this land, to Judah. The whole of Judah was affected. And our farming land was no longer good. We couldn't grow anything. And Elimelech was really worried that he wasn't able to find food for us. So he made a decision. He came to me one day and he said, we're going to move. We're going to go to Moab, he said. There they have food. And we packed up and we went. I remember feeling very afraid as we left the land that I'd been brought up in. Very scared of what was ahead. But we arrived and we actually settled. And life was good for a while. But then tragedy struck. My husband Elimelech died. Couldn't believe it. My two sons, Mahlon and Kilian, were so good. Such a wonderful support. They made sure that the land we were living on was still farmed and that we had food to eat. And they married two Moabite women, Orpah and Ruth. They're good women. They became like daughters to me. I love them dearly. But then tragedy again struck. You never think that your children will die before you. You always hope that won't be the case. But it was. Mahlon and Kilian died. Both of them. Leaving myself, Orpah and Ruth to survive on our own. I didn't know how I was going to look after these girls. I didn't know what we were going to do. I felt as if God had deserted me, left me, and I was angry with him. But then I heard that the famine had ended in Judah, and I decided, right, I'm going to go home. I'll go and find my land again and my home, and I'll start again. I told Orpah and Ruth what I was going to do, and I told them that they must stay here. Stay there in Moab as it was. They didn't want to. They clung to me. We had such a good relationship. They didn't want to leave me. I said, you must stay here with your family and your friends. I cannot give you what they can give you. I can't find husbands for you. I was scared that if they came with me, they'd be rejected by my people because of coming from Moab. But they clung to me hard as I left. I cried out to Orpah, please stay. Stay here with your family, your friends. See sense. They will give you everything you need. I cannot. Please stay, Orpah. Ruth, you must stay as well. Orpah let go of me, and in tears she went back to her family and her friends. She did the right thing. But Ruth, oh, she can be stubborn sometimes, a bit like me really. She would not let go. And she said, where you go, I will go. Where you live, I will live. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die. And where you are buried, I will be buried. Do not stop me from coming with you. Her dedication, her commitment to me was amazing. It gave me strength and support. But how could I support her? I wanted to. So we left together, Moab to Bethlehem. And when we arrived, I found my land was still my land. My home was still my home. In a mess, but it was still there. So we had a floor to sleep on. No food to eat, but a floor to sleep on. And on the first morning that we both awoke, I said to Ruth, you need to go and find food. I'll clean up here, you go find food. And she went off. She came back much later in the day, but she came with food and a smile on her face. It has been a good day, she said. I worked on a local farm. I said, who was the man who owned it? It was Boaz, she said, and he gave me some food and told me to come back the next day, tomorrow. This was the beginning of something special. I knew that if she continued going to this farm, good things would happen. I had a feeling inside. And I knew in my heart I probably would need to do a bit of matchmaking. For I realised Boaz was Elimelech's relative. So I hatched a plan and I told Ruth about it. And amazingly enough, Boaz and Ruth, well, they have a good relationship and they married. There was a bit of negotiation that needed to be done with other relatives, but in the end, Boaz bought this land, lived on this land with us, as well as owning his own farm. And Ruth he married. And now, as I say, I have a grandson, a beautiful grandson. And life is good. And I know that God has blessed me. And I was wrong to think he'd left me, for he never had. He was here, and he continues to bless me every day.